I am always hunting for weird vintage lenses on eBay. A few weeks ago, I spotted something unusual. The seller had listed it simply as projector lens 70mm f/15, and the listing only had 3 photos. After studying the images, I was pretty sure he made a mistake. This wasn't a f/15 lens, it was a f1.5 lens. A 70mm f1.5 cinema projector lens was rare and odd enough for me to take a chance, even if it was not a famous brand. I bid €10 and won. On the photos, the lens looked really dirty, but I was hoping a good cleaning would do the trick. After a quick inspection, the glass didn't have any cracks or fungus. As I started wiping down the body, I saw the engraving, and my jaw dropped. This was an Angenieux lens. I had just bought a €10 Angenieux lens in very good condition from a seller who clearly hadn't bothered to do any basic research. But why is an Angenieux lens such a big deal? Pierre Angenieux was a French engineer who essentially fathered modern cinema optics. Founded in 1935, his company didn't just build lenses, they solved impossible problems. He created the first practical zoom lens, the revolutionary retrofocus design, and optics so good they were awarded 3 Oscars. In the 1960s, directors like Godard and Truffaut used Angenieux lenses to liberate the camera. Because the lenses were so compact, they could rip the camera off the tripod and run through the streets of Paris. Stanley Kubrick was a perfectionist, and he was obsessed with Angenieux glass. Those slow, creeping zooms in A Clockwork Orange and Barry Lyndon, that's Angenieux. In fact, the 14.5mm wide angle is still nicknamed the Kubrick lens. NASA chose Angenieux for the Ranger 7 mission, which sent back the first ever high-res photos of the lunar surface. And when Apollo 11 went up, there was an Angenieux lens inside the command module filming Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. Today, Angenieux lenses are legendary, but they are usually way too expensive for most of us. Even vintage ones are pricey because they are so rare. But there's one exception: projection lenses. Collectors used to ignore these because they were difficult to adapt, but mirrorless cameras have finally changed the game. So now I want to give this lens a new life. First, I completely cleaned the lens by removing the front and rear elements. While I was doing that, I took the opportunity to flock the inside of the barrel. One big problem with any projector lens is that they were made to project images, not to capture them. The bare metal insides are highly reflective and will cause the footage to look washed out. To reduce reflections, I used the new experimental fine-shot Kiwami, a self-adhesive film that absorbs 99.9% of visible light and can stick inside the lens barrel. This will give me a better contrasted image. If you want to know more about my process of flocking ultra-black lenses, there's a link to the video in the description and here in the corner. I still have a problem to solve. The lens has no aperture system. But I don't care, as I want to shoot wide open all the time to get these specific effects. Beautiful subject separation, great sharpness in the center, and a strong swirly bokeh. This lens was designed for 16mm film projectors. The lens itself has no diaphragm and no focusing system. I need to fit this simple tube inside an helicoid adapter. I 3D printed a ring that fits perfectly inside the adapter. Now I can focus from infinity to macro. Because the front of the lens has a 52mm thread, I can easily add a variable ND filter. This allows me to control how much light goes inside the lens, which means I can shoot at 24 fps in bright sunlight and still keep my footage well exposed. The setup was finally ready. This is one of the most impressive qualities of this lens. Subjects are well separated from the background, providing a dreamy look that makes the subject truly pop. The center of the image is razor sharp. But the moment you leave the center, the sharpness turns into a watercolor-like effect. The swirly bokeh here is amazing, creating a clean and distinct tunnel effect. The lens provides some very impressive rainbow flares and some blue artifacts. After flocking the lens, colors are punchy and contrasted, with a dreamlike pastel quality. Macro is possible, but there's a slight halo that forms on the subject if you get closer than 20 centimeters. Now that I have a better understanding of the lens capabilities, I'm going to put it to the test for real. But before showing you the short film, maybe you want to get one of these insane swirly bokeh lenses for cheap. To help you, I created the Projector Lens Handbook, a 130-page ebook packed with my best advice for getting incredible swirly bokeh and unique cinematic images using cheap, forgotten lenses. Just click the link in the description to grab your copy. I color graded this short film using a mix of different LUTs from my LUT Packs and Angenieux Pro. Finding this lens was pure luck, and getting such amazing results from a €10 find is mind-blowing. This is a reminder to always stay open to lucky accidents, because you never know what you could find. If you want to keep exploring the world of vintage projector lenses, you should check out this playlist.